Now today, you're part of a truly remarkable global phenomenon. Around the world, thousands of people have been gathering in meetings to experience the power of ideas. A surprising thing about today's meeting is that we here at TED have had almost nothing to do with it. We lent our name, our format, a few simple guidelines, and some of our content. But the really hard work to make today happen has been down to your local organizers, and we're truly in awe at the passion and dedication that they have shown to make something like this work. A thank you to you too for taking the time out to come and be part of this exciting conversation about our shared future. Now please write and tell us what you make of the event today. But for now, on with the show.
In a world dominated by self-serving people, there are very few who devote their entire lives towards creating something unique, striving to stand out from the rest. There are even fewer who succeed in doing so, walking the extra mile and breaking the extra bead of sweat, hoping to make the lives around them a little better.
We believe that these stories are not based on massive leaps, but rather small, meaningful steps taken with utmost confidence and faith in one's dreams. Such stories deserve the limelight, and we hope that this event provides a platform to create a metamorphosis, unleashing the endless potential to reinvent the world, taking a step at a time.
Good morning to everyone who has joined the live stream today. We, the host of this event, humbly invite you to TEDxYouth by CIRS 2020. In the spirit of ideas worth spreading, TED has built a program called TEDx. TEDx is a self-organized event that brings people together to share the TED experience.
The TED conference usually provides general guidance for the TEDx program, but the individual TEDx events, including ours, are self-organized. By organizing such events, we hope to spark curiosity in individuals that seek to revolutionize the world we know today. This brings us to our theme of this event:
Reinventing the world. To honor the theme of TEDxYouth at CIRS 2020, we have chosen to honor the ones who have broken the mold, the ones who have walked on the road not taken, and the ones who have dared to celebrate the unknown.
TEDxYouth at CIRS is an independently organized TEDx event curated by Chinmaya International Residential School. We have been organizing such TEDx events for the past 3 years, addressing a youthful audience about our themes with awe-inspiring speakers. With an audience of about 100, the event usually takes place at our school. But due to the pandemic situation, TEDxYouth at CIRS is set to be virtual this year, with the event live on YouTube and Facebook, addressing a much larger audience as well.
Before we continue with the program, let us begin with an invocation prayer presented by Parvati of class 11. Thank you so much, Parvati, for that melodious rendition. We now hand over the platform to our enthusiastic speakers for the day. We have 6 brilliant speakers who have made a difference in a variety of aspects in this world, and we hope that this event inspires you to help in the quest of making this world a better place to live in.
But in order for us to completely enjoy the talks and learn as much as we can from this forum, let's not forget to power off all the distractions around us and to completely immerse ourselves into today's event. Our very first speaker for the day is Mr. Abhishek Sansanwal. He is the founder and CEO of Devote, an app development firm and creator of the Devote Ed program, India's first of its kind mentorship program. He is a Google Venkat Memorial Scholar who has been ranked in the top 50 tech leaders by Intercom Dubai. He has also won the Young Entrepreneur Excellence Award from NCCN. In a world where everything is going digital, he is a pioneer, redefining the approach we have to the online forum. Please help me in welcoming the first speaker of the day, Mr. Abhishek Sansanwal.
Let me ask you a question. 1 month before this moment, did you plan on watching or listening to this talk by some Abhishek Sansalwal? Probably not, but still, for some reason, you are here. And now that you are here, I want you to give me 10 to 13 minutes of your life. Not asking for much, a maximum of 13 minutes. And I want you to listen very carefully to what I'm going to say. You don't need goals to achieve success in your life. You don't always need a plan. And here's why. At this moment in time, there are 7.8 billion people living on this planet. Each person with a different mind, a different body, a different soul. Each person with a different thought process, leading to different actions and causing different reactions. And another fact, on an average, an adult takes about 35,000 conscious decisions daily, and a child takes about 2 to 3,000. And all of this amounts to a total of 202.6 trillion daily decisions. Now, that is a big, big number, and that's mind boggling. And talking about mind boggling things, let me share with you this concept called butterfly effect. If you haven't heard of it before, butterfly effect says that small things can have non-linear impact in a complex system. Now that sounds pretty scientific, right? But in simple terms, you can imagine butterfly effect as a butterfly flapping its wings in the east and that causing a typhoon in the west. Okay, so what am I trying to do here? What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to relate butterfly effect and think in terms of those 202.6 trillion daily decisions. Are we really sure that the decisions that we are making are of our own? And if they are we really sure that the actions that we are taking on those decisions will not be impacted by things that are not under our control? There's zero chances, right? So is it really wise to fixate all these goals and make all these plans? Is it really wise? It doesn't make any sense, right? But what should we do then? I mean, what is life all about, right? So I'll share with you 5 big ideas on how you can achieve success without having to set any goals. And why should you listen to me? Because whatever I'm talking about, it's not just theory, okay? Ever since a child steps into a school, the world starts asking, what do you want to become, rather than asking what kind of person do you want to be. People ask, how are you going to get there, instead of saying, hey, I hope you're doing good, I believe in you, you've got this. you know and I consider myself very fortunate to have done a few things by the age of 20. I've received all these different awards, built a successful business, helped thousands of people. So whatever I'm going to talk about, it's going to be from experience. All right. And what I did have in my mind was not a goal or a plan when I started my company Verved. I just had a vision. Okay. I just had a deep desire to explore different things. And then along the way, I grasped on some problems to solve, learned the skills that I needed to have to solve them, and just I just trusted the flow and trusted my instincts. Okay? So, when someone asks, hey, buddy, what's your passion? 90% of people are like, well, I don't know what my passion is. I mean, I like five things, but I think sixth thing is better, or maybe the seventh thing sounds great, right? So they can't really decide. And also, they don't have any game plan, they don't have any vision. And I'm here to tell you that that's completely fine. And in fact, that is a really, really powerful state to be in because you don't know what to do. And I always tell people it's better to not know what to do than doing things that you know you don't want to do. There's a slight difference, but it's a big, big point. Think about it. And this concept, people don't get it, right? People are always confused in this concept. So here are those five big ideas which will help you understand all of this and make you realize that you can achieve success without goals. So, point number one, adopt the explore mindset. Now, what I mean by explore mindset is that I am not limited by what I've been taught or how I've been raised. Okay? I am not limited to the things that I know, but rather I'm always exploring. See, the term passion has been so heavily focused on these days. What is my passion? What is that one call? It's not like you're going to wake up one day and you'll be like, okay, I finally found it. This is what I want to do. It doesn't happen like that in real life. Okay? So instead of really focusing on finding your passion, how about we become the passion? Think about it. How about we make the passion whatever we want it to be? Make sense? And don't look for what you want to do in life. This is also one of the things that I'm asked a lot by people. Abhishek, I don't know what to do in my life. I always say, don't think about what you want to do, but rather do things, explore things, and eliminate those things that you don't want to do. Okay? And those things that you do want to do and that you really enjoy, how about we do them more often? I hope that's making sense. And I'd like to share this really amazing conversation that I heard on Jay Shetty's podcast where Kunal Nair says, goals are lovely to have, but when you achieve them, then you want more goals, and then you want more goals. So you're really trying to fulfill an ego that will never be filled. And this is so, so true. We are always stuck in this loop, in this never ending cycle of chasing things without consciously thinking whether or not this journey is fulfilling us and resonating with who we really are. You know? And imagine how interesting it would be if we stopped focusing on where we wanted to go, but rather focusing on the journey itself. Imagine how interesting it would be to live this goal-free life where you have the freedom to explore whatever you want to try, and you don't have any pressure because see, when you set goals, that creates pressure, right? And more pressure creates more disappointments, and disappointments leads to failure. Now I should better say it as it does not lead to success, because I think failure is not a term that should be in anyone's vocabulary. There's only two things that happen: either you succeed or you learn. Okay? And with that, let's move on to point number two, which is live in the present. A mistake that we commonly do is being in our own head majority of the time. Especially now in this world of technology, you're on a date or you're taking your significant other to a romantic dinner, and here goes the notification, and whoop, there's your phone, right? You're talking to this person face to face, and at the same time you're thinking about that mail you forgot to send, or the paycheck that you will receive day after tomorrow. That's what we are doing these days, and this thing causes a big trail of unfulfilling moments, disconnected relationships, inefficient efforts, and unexpected outcomes, right? And I'm not saying not to think about the future or not to, or forgetting the past. I'm not asking you to do that. What I'm saying is, when you are breathing in the now, how about you shift the focus of your mind to the present as well? And with that, point number three, replace plans with priorities. A really powerful message, and this is something you'll heavily relate to. How many times have you made plans and failed to achieve them, to follow them? It has happened with me countless number of times, and it links back to the concept of butterfly effect. You cannot make a plan. You just cannot. It just won't work. And so how about we replace these plans with priorities? I didn't plan on building my company Verved. I faced a problem and cooked up a solution for it and build roadmaps on what we're going to achieve and when do we do what's needed to be done. Simple as that. And we're not machines. We're not machines who have to be programmed by who have to program with a list of plans, with a list of things to do. We're not robots. And so how about we think that, okay, I have to do thing A by 3 p.m. in the afternoon, so I'll do it right now, and then I'll move on to plan B. I mean, thing B. Okay, this way you not only do the things that matter to you today in the now, but you'll also enjoy life while you're at it. I hope that's making sense. And therefore, I always say prioritize things and don't plan them. And with that, we move on to point number four, which is believe in the flow. We spend time asking so many questions: what, why, when, how. As much as it is important to have clarity on what you're doing, it's also equally important to not get lost in these questions. You know, one day there was nothing, and then boom, there was life in this universe. And how all of this happened and how all of it will go away a few billion years from now, no one will ever care. you know it will be like we didn't ever exist. So all these scientific advancements, all these different things that we're building, all these different things that we've built, nothing will really matter in the end. But that doesn't mean that we should just give up, does it? That doesn't mean that we have to, let everything down and be like, okay, why are we even here? What are we doing when everything has to go away? I mean, since you got this chance, how about we enjoy the life and live every single second to the fullest? Or at least consciously do the things that we are doing. Science today does not have answers to tons of questions. And so when it comes to doing these things, how about we just believe in the flow? How about we just believe that everything will work out? Some people call this their god or universe, but whatever it is, how about we just trust the process? Stop worrying about the outcomes, stop obsessing over things that don't resonate with your true self, and just keep that in mind and always do more of this last point, which is point number 5: do more good in the world. The biggest satisfaction that I've had in my 20 years of life is not the awards I got, it's not the recognition or the achievement, it's the real impact that I see in the world. It's when someone tells me, Abhi, your journey helped me a lot. Abhishek, thank you for that YouTube video. It cleared a lot of doubts. That is real success for me. And remember, what you're doing, it doesn't have to be a revolutionary thing. It doesn't have to be this revolutionary thing that changes the world. You just have to do your part. Help those in need, you know. Make really purposeful connections with each other. Ask people how they are. Tell someone you're proud of them. Make someone smile. Be there for them. And this is what life is really about, or at least what it should be about. You know, how you act in certain situations, how you react in certain situations. All of these things you will understand and explore more about yourself when you are helping others, when you are contributing to the betterment of this world. All right. And remember, the clouded fog in your eyes, it will begin to fade away once you start doing this last point, which is do more good in the world. And that's all I have to share. So explore more often, live in the present, replace plans with priorities, believe in the flow, and do more good. And once you do all of that, you will start to realize that you don't actually need goals to succeed in life. And always remember, not all who wander are lost. Stay about, you guys.
A huge thank you to Mr. Abhishek for reshaping our understanding of goals and the purpose of life itself. Now, for a small break between the talks, we have the students from our very school who are going to perform a dance for us. This dance is a symbolism for the knowledge that our teachers bestow upon us and how it ignites transformation. So, without wasting any more time, please welcome our brilliant dancers. Thank you so much, dancers, for lighting up our screens and brightening our day. Our next speaker is one who is extremely passionate about the strategies regarding healthcare and is making huge strides in the field. Dr. Shweta Adatia is a stroke neurologist and a health innovator. She is leading the extensive strategic developments in healthcare pertaining to strokes. She has completed her MBA at Cambridge University and has healed over 50,000 patients. With over 200 successful seminars and workshops completed, She is a specialist with an abundance of knowledge and expertise in the field and is creating revolutionary approaches to a problem that plagues the quarter of the entire human race. With that, here to share her ideas and her insights, please welcome Dr. Shweta Adatya.
Good morning, friends. I am Dr. Shweta, and I am going to present something very interesting about the brain. However, the theme is reinventing the world, but we will see it through the lens of reinvention of our thoughts and self. So let me take you back in time. 1748, a young gentleman, British aristocrat and a politician named Mr. John Montagu loved to play cards. Now, as you know, you need two hands to play the cards. Mr. John also wanted to eat at the same time. How do you do that? You want to play the cards with both hands but also eat simultaneously. So Mr. John had an idea to put meat in between the two lofts of the bread, and eat it like a sandwich while playing the cards. I want you to imagine he's playing cards with one hand while eating with the other, and nothing less than what we call the modern day sandwich was born. Yes, my dear friends, he's the fourth Earl of Sandwich. Now, I could have presented this fact in a very dry fashion, informationally oriented, that sandwich was invented by John Montagu. Sandwich is a meat loaf which is kept in between the two slices of the bread. How would it sound? And possibly you will never remember that. When I created a story around it, your brain started to imagine Mr. John Montagu's picture and started to imagine that he's playing cards. You started to connect with the character and bring out visually a vivid picture of him in your brain. My dear friends, this is the power of storytelling. And today, as a neuroscientist, a neuroresearcher, a neurologist, let me bring you these superb facts about the storytelling capability of the brain, as well as the trap with which the brain can absolutely be affected by the same storytelling capability of the brain. So you may be wondering, how is this possible? Yes, so this another 14 minutes, we will drive down this beautiful logic that you cannot fall into the trap of the stories, while at the same time you need to have the ability to tell beautiful stories, listen to the stories and make meaning out of it. Brain is one fantastic sophisticated instrument. I always call it as the romance with the brain. And I'm sure if you will read about those facts, it will be an imminent romance for you as well. We have evolved. We evolved from the little tiny creepy crawly creatures called the reptilian brain to the mammalian brain, which is in elephants, to this sophisticated human brain with a beautiful thing called cortex, or the rational brain. But we still harbor that limbic brain or the emotional brain, which is in the reptiles right here. Both parts of the brain are there right here kicking in as you even listen to me. What is the brain doing when you are listening a story? Now, this is very, very powerful. Okay, and that is the reason why Hollywood is into business, Bollywood is into business. Any person who tells a great story is into business. You immediately, your brain can connect, you can donate, you can absolutely win the hearts of people if you have the ability to tell a powerful story. University of Southern California, the scientists discovered a default mode network in the brain. It's a beautiful network which we thought it's autopiloting, and it has nothing really to do with our lives. Well, it has a lot to do with our lives. It is the one which associates meanings to these stories, and it is very prudent to keep them within our brains for a long period of time. You will remember stories when you were little kids. We all read Chacha Chaudhary and Amar Chitra Katha and all as we grew up. We still remember those stories. Why? Because our bottom parts of the brain, or practically the anchoring portions of the brain, connected that meaning to the character. A narrative obviously is very important, but the emotion that you connect to a character gives life to a story. If you want to become a great storyteller, you have to get to that emotional content, to that emotional self of the brain, to your listener. Neuroscience says a listener's brain and a storyteller's brain has the same number of neurons or the brain cells kicked in. Isn't it marvelous? Why? Because the brain is searching for meaning. We are all meaning-making machines. A narrative is told, what is in it for me? Immediately the brain connects to a meaning. How many of you have passed by the highways and the roads? There is a road traffic accident. You have nothing to do with the accident. You are driving or you're sitting in the back seat of the car, but you will stop to look what is happening. Why is it so? It's because your brain wanted to know if there is something for me to learn in the scene out there. Brain is constantly seeking meaning. Brain is constantly figuring it out what is happening around, and most importantly, why it is happening around. This is the meaning-making drive of the brain which makes it unique. You all are students. You all have a beautiful life out there. If you understand what a brain understands, I think we will get rid of all the failure-related suicides and all the drug addictions and all the traps. It is an instrument. If you bring in a fantastic MP3 player and then you just plug it in without reading the manual, what will happen? Possibly it will work well, very good. Possibly it will just blow off because you plugged it wrong. The voltage that you were supposed to do was incorrect. Possibly it will not work. So reading the manual would actually lead you to not commit that mistake. So for me, as a neuroscientist, I consider brain as an instrument. Knowing some fundamental facts about brain is something which can make your life successful, make you connect to the world better, make you a great human being, and embrace peace, happiness, and success. The fundamentals are very small, but very powerful. Coming back to the brain, I'm a great proponent of whole brain. So left side of the brain is merely understanding the narrative, the information, the structure, the sequences, the logic, the numbers, while the right side of the brain is more interested in the multimedia, pictures, videos, music, dance, drama, literature, theater, arts. But the whole brain and the story is something which kicks the whole brain. Stories kick the whole brain out, not just left or right, and stories create a deep and powerful meaning. So what you should do in your daily lives, read motivational stories, connect to people who share their stories, be absolutely interested in knowing about other people's story. Your brain can learn better than to read simple informational facts. Stories activate this default mode network which we talked about from University of Southern California, connect it deeper, make oxytocin, dopamine, these are all happy chemicals. You can associate with the character, create happiness, understand, relate, engage, and take a step in your life. So my dear friends, stories are immensely powerful. Read more stories, listen to more stories, be a fantastic storyteller in your life. Learn how to craft stories. You can actually even perform better in anything that you do if you have crafted this habit of storytelling. Remember, you're kicking the whole brain of the other person. You are bringing that connection, meaning-making drive of that brain by telling that. But wait, is it only the positive aspect or the story and the motivational content which we get connected to? Unfortunately not. The same meaning-making drive of the brain, the same drive which is making us understand the stories is also the cause of our failure. And you may be wondering, why is it so? Because what really happens is because of the meaning-making drive, I'm constantly figuring out why. A friend passes by and does not wave at me, and I wonder, hey, what happened? My brain is talking to me and say, I think yesterday we had a fight and possibly she is upset at me. She's mad at me because I didn't send her a text message. She's thinking like that because I told her something last week. You see this? Now poor she may not have recognized you altogether. She may be in her own busy world. She may be in her own thoughts. But what your brain did just now is the meaning making machine driven thoughts. Okay, you just wanted to know why she did that to you. She didn't wave at you. Why was the reason? What was the reason? And in this process, what we do, and let me tell you, we do this every day, day in and day out. We receive thousands of messages, right? WhatsApp, social media, and every time there is a communication, what we do is we bring this drive on. We bring this brain into thinking. What is she thinking? Why is this happening? Why is she sent this sort of a smiley? Somebody just told me that, what is the meaning of this smiley? And I'm like, well, the meaning in my mind was blessing. I don't know what you took it, but this is how, because every single brain connects to its experiences, connects to its deep emotion and brings out a meaning. And what happens in the process? What happens in the process is we are tired. Our brain is exhausted making meaning from absolutely everything what is happening around. I want you to be careful to not fall trap at this meaning making part of the brain. I want you to be conscious. I want you to live every day not committing this mistake of falling trap to this meaning making drive. I see suicides. I see people dropping dead at the pretext that I will not get good marks. The marks are not out yet. The student has given the exam, but the pretext, the brain has made a story. I'm not going to succeed. I'm going to be a failure. I'm not going to pass. And what happens? You commit suicide. At that powerful emotional drive that I am a failure drives you to push the limits of existence and commit suicide, which is very bad, because now posthumously excellent marks come out. Your pretext, what you made, was completely fallacious. It was absolutely wrong. Whatever you trusted to your brain's emotional capability that it's making a story and a meaning that you will fail was absolutely wrong. So my dear friends, I want you to take this home, a message that consciously, please think what your brain is doing. There is a mode of autopilot happening. Yes, as I drive the car, my brain absolutely takes all the sensations, but it's barely aware. Sometimes you wonder, oh, I reached this destination. I'm sure a lot of you would have felt that autopilot drive of the brain. It happens often, but I want you to be conscious in this process, especially when it is making meanings, when it is relating meanings. Texting has become so popular an exercise, but tell me, how many relations are made through texting? If you look at the data, most people are having divorces because of the miscommunication through texting. Well, there is no connection. There is no story. You cannot read my body language. You cannot read me. You cannot understand what I am trying to think or portray. While you just see the message, and what you feel is your brain's meaning making drive gets on wild. It thinks negative. Most of the times we are into the survival mode, fight or flight. Okay, we are physiologically tuned to go either into the fight mode or the flight mode. And I have done that. I've lost a wonderful family friend because of this reason. Because at every single message, every single moment, I feel threatened. I feel threatened to survival. I feel threatened in a relationship. And this is what makes my brain absolutely become negative, associate a negative meaning to it, while that is not the truth. So my very important message to you, friends, is yes, brains love stories. You must make habit of reading great stories to become successful. You must connect to people who can tell you real life stories, who are heroes of their own life. Yes, you have to watch documentaries which are portraying unbelievable and unimaginable stories. Your whole brain kicks in. You connect at a deeper level. Your emotional drive is intact. You understand meaning much deeper than what brain would ever get it. Mr. Paul and Dr. Paul and his experiments are fantastic to know the amount of the brain which gets stimulated when you listen to a story. Absolutely phenomenal. You should leverage this part of the brain. You should not think that stories are something which are unimportant. Stories are very, very powerful. Make a habit to create a story. Make a habit to present yourself in a beautiful way whenever you're introducing yourself in a story. But don't fall trap to this meaning making drive. Unfortunately, we live in a world where communication has advanced, but our relationships have faltered. We live in a very, very threatened and sort of a society where everything is negatively portrayed within ourselves, unfortunately, because it is the meaning making drive which is within ourselves. And the only way to come out of that is you and me understanding this meaning making drive and then giving a positive twist to it. So the next time when I see this friend going from one place to the other and not waving a hi at me, I should make a positive story and tell to the brain, I think she did not notice. I think she is in her own thoughts. Poor she. I think she is already busy doing something and that is the reason she did not attend. Well, when I tell this positive relation to the story, this positive emotion to the story, the brain does not get down into a spiral mode of survival, fight or flight. It is relaxed. It is not stressed. Now it can think better. So every day I want you guys to observe how many times we do this. We do this day in and day out, any age. No age is barred at that. I want you to consciously come out of this trap, but at the same time, leverage the power of stories. Educators, teachers, this is a request to bring in as much live stories as possible. As many people who can tell their stories to our young, brilliant, bright minds. Brain is waiting. Brain is waiting for that moment to connect, to engage, to build, to develop. And as the story is powerful, the narrative is powerful, the emotion is deeper, and the message is absolutely drilled inside the brain. So thank you. I hope that this ride across understanding the story, one, understanding how brain relates to the story, and two, falling trap to brain's ability to create story is understood well. And I pray that this is applicable in everyday life. And thank you again for a patient hearing. Kudos to the brain, kudos to you, kudos to self. Let's not just reinvent the self, but reinvent community, nation, society, world, and planet at large. Goodbye.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adatya. Who knew something as common as stories could hold the key to reinventing the world? Now, to understand how messages like these create waves across the world, we would like to display a particular TED Talk for all of you to watch and learn from.
The brain is an amazing and complex organ. And while many people are fascinated by the brain, they can't really tell you that much about the properties about how the brain works because we don't teach neuroscience in schools. And one of the reasons why is that the equipment is so complex and so expensive that it's really only done at major universities and large institutions. And so in order to be able to access the brain, you really need to dedicate your life and spend 6.5 years as a graduate student just to become a neuroscientist to get access to these tools. And that's a shame because 1 out of 5 of us, that's 20% of the entire world, will have a neurological disorder. And there are 0 cures for these diseases. And so it seems that what we should be doing is sort of reaching back earlier in the education process and sort of teaching students about neuroscience, and so that in the future they may be thinking about possibly becoming a brain scientist. And so when I was a graduate student, my lab mate Tim Marzullo and myself decided that, what if we took this complex equipment that we have for studying the brain and made it simple enough and affordable enough that anyone, an amateur or a high school student, could learn and actually participate in the discovery of neuroscience. And so we did just that. A few years ago, we started a company called Backyard Brains, and we make DIY neuroscience equipment. And I brought some here tonight, and I want to do some demonstrations. You guys want to see some? All right. So I need a volunteer. So right before, what is your name? All right, Sam. I'm going to record from your brain. Have you had this before? No. Okay. All right. I need you to stick out your arm for science. Roll up your sleeve a bit. All right. And so what I'm going to do, I'm putting electrodes on your arm, and you're probably wondering, I just said I'm going to record from your brain. What am I doing with your arm? You have about 80 billion neurons inside your brain right now. They're sending electrical messages back and forth and chemical messages. But some of your neurons right here in your motor cortex are going to send messages down when you move your arm like this. It's going to go down across your corpus callosum, down onto your spinal cord, your lower motor neuron, out to your muscles here. And that is electrical discharge. It's going to be picked up by these electrodes right here. And we're going to be able to listen to exactly what your brain is going to be doing. So I'm going to turn this on for a second. Have you ever heard what your brain sounds like? No. All right, let's turn it on. So go ahead. Whenever you go ahead and squeeze your hand. All right, so what you're listening to, so this is your motor units that are happening right here. Okay, so let's take a look at it as well. So I'm going to stand over here. And I'm going to open up our app here. So now I want you to squeeze. Yeah, so right here, these are the motor units that are happening from her spinal cord out to her muscle right here. And as she's doing it, you're seeing the electrical activity that's happening here. We can even click here and try to see one of them. So keep doing it really, really hard. Yeah, so now we've paused on one motor action potential that's happening right now inside of your brain. Okay, do you guys want to see some more? All right. That's interesting, but let's get it better. Okay, I need one more volunteer. Okay, what is your name, sir? Miguel, all right. You're going to stand right here. So Miguel, when you're moving your arm like this, your brain is sending a signal down to your muscles right here. I want you to move your arm as well. All right, so your brain is going to send a signal down to your muscles. And so it turns out that there is a nerve that's right here that runs up here that innervates these three fingers. And it's close enough to the skin that we might be able to stimulate that. So that we can do is copy your brain signal that's going out to your hand and inject it into your hand so that your hand will move when your brain tells your hand to move. And so in a sense, she will take away your free will and you will no longer have any control over this hand, okay? You with me? All right, so I just need to hook you up. All right, so I'm gonna find your ulnar nerve, which is probably right around here. You don't know what you're signing up for when you come up and... So now I'm gonna move away and I'm gonna plug it into our human-to-human interface over here. Okay, so Sam wants you to squeeze your hand again. All right, do it again. All right, perfect. So now I'm going to hook you up over here so that you get the stimulus. It's going to feel a little bit weird at first. This is going to feel like a, you know, when you lose your free will and someone else becomes your agent, it does feel a bit strange. So I want you to relax your hand. All right, and Sam, you're with me? All right, so you're gonna squeeze. I'm not going to turn it on yet, so go ahead and give it a squeeze. All right, so now, are you ready, Miguel?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay, so I've turned it on. So go ahead and turn your hand. Do you feel that a little bit? No. Okay, do it again.
No, a little bit.
A little bit. Okay, so relax. No, hit it again. Okay. Oh, perfect, perfect. All right, so relax. Do it again. All right, so now. All right, so right now, your brain is controlling your arm, and it's also controlling his arm. So go ahead and just do it one more time. All right, so that's perfect. So now, what would happen if I took over my control of your hand, and so just relax your hand, what happens? Nothing. Why not? Because the brain has to do it. Now you do it again. All right, that's perfect. All right, well, thank you guys for being such a good sport. This is what's happening all across the world, electrophysiology, and we're going to bring on the neural revolution. Thank you.
Our next speaker is one of Asia's most influential personalities under 30. He is the founder and the MD of X Billion Labs, and his mission? To enhance employability by incepting and measuring the applications of natural intelligence at the workplace, so that every young graduate, irrespective of background, gets a fair shot at building a meaningful career. Samyak has also partnered with the United Nations for student engagement in sustainable development goals by providing opportunities to those who haven't been given a chance before, and by leveling the field, Samyak is laying the groundwork for countless new innovations and ideas. I'm sure he can do a better job at explaining his work than me. So please welcome Samyak Chakrabarti.
Hello everyone. It is indeed a pleasure to be interacting with you all today. However, I really wish I could be there in person. But this is the sign of times, and we must adapt and change our behaviors to embrace the new world that is about to change the very way of life that we imagined it to be. One of the most fundamental aspects of life that will change is work. Recently, in my work as a founder of an edtech company, I met a bunch of college students, and they told me a really interesting insight. They said, sir, from childhood, our parents told us, work hard, pray hard, be sincere, limit the fun you have, focus on your studies. Our grandmothers told us, go pray to God every week, and you will get a good career. So the equation that was built in all our minds, that equation that society has built in all our minds is, go to school, work hard, get good marks, pray to God, and all will work out. So this group of students that I was talking to said, sir, we did everything. And despite doing all of it, we all have great marks, we all have great degrees, we all have done everything that was required to be done that would label being a good student, a good son or daughter, but yet we don't have jobs. And if we got some jobs, they are far lower in salary or in the kind of job than what is expected or deserving of someone who has worked hard in their life. What's the point then? That got me thinking that fact of the matter is that COVID and just the way in general the world is progressing has really, or is rather about to, disrupt our very idea and our very equation about what careers means. I'm not here to tell you that technology is going to be the future of work. I'm not here to tell you that focus on learning those skills that are going to be relevant in the next 5 years. Because the point is that your career is not about the next 5 years. It is about the next 30 years. I'm going to talk to you about today the shifts that I think are going to impact the future of work and your very career. The first and the most important shift is that your degrees and your marks won't matter. I'll tell you why. If you think about it, the shape of a classroom or the construct or the design of a classroom resembles much like a factory floor. So post-industrial revolution, businesses needed a workforce that would fulfill its agenda, whether it's to be a manager, whether it's to be a manufacturing, whether it's to be in sales. So what schools and colleges were designed to do was literally produce humans and shape them and enhance their capability to serve the needs of the industry. At that time, the industry was not as competitive, as it was not so innovation driven, it was not so technology driven, business was not so complex as it is now. So the entire education system and the system that validated what a good student meant, which is exams or degrees, it was meant to serve the agenda and the needs of the post-industrial era. But what's happened now is, let's take for example in India, every year more than 3 million, and this is just a small estimate, more than 3 million people graduate with the same degree, with the same marks. Now employers say, okay, so what's the value of that degree? Because in a time when the degree mattered, education was not something that everybody could pursue or wanted to pursue. So a degree meant that, okay, this boy or girl has gone to a good college or has gone to a college and they have studied, and they've studied the knowledge that is needed for them to be able to perform and excel in that world of work. But now employers are saying that, yeah, now degree is like literally having a birth certificate that certifies you are born, and a degree is certifying that you have studied. But it speaks nothing about the ability of the person to fulfill the needs of the new world of work. So the first change and the first truth that you need to accept is you cannot think and be confident in the fact that I have gone to a school or a good school, I have a degree from a college or a good college, and that's going to sort me out. No. Degrees, I repeat, are just now a document like an Aadhaar card or birth certificate that you need to give wherever you apply for something. The second shift, which is obviously all of these are connected, is now our education system is actually producing robots, because our education system says that, mug up, get the marks, and you are fit for the workforce. So literally your mind is being programmed, right? But now an interesting thing is happening. Actual machines and robots are taking over jobs that humans used to do. So in the next 5 years, you may not be needing engineers. You may not be needing lawyers who are just supposed to sit and draft notices or documents, because that's something machines will do. You may not need accountants because machine is going to do the accounting process. So now robots are soon going to take over all the manual tasks. So therefore, the third shift is only those jobs will remain, and only those people will be selected who have the ability to apply their own creative intelligence to do things that robots cannot. Because what can robots do? Robots can do things they are programmed for. Much like our education system that programs us to do and think in a certain way. But the moment we get a situation or a scenario that we have not been taught about, we start becoming nervous. Now in this new world of work, every situation will be new. Every challenge will be unique. So you can't go refer to a book or the programming that the education system has given you, because whatever you've been taught is not what is going to be applied or what's going to happen. So robots will take away jobs that are manual, leaving only those jobs for those people where creative thinking, innovation, and the use of human intelligence and the use of human emotions is required. Robots will also soon catch up to that, but you still have about 20 years away, I think. Now, what does this mean, right? So, for example, we spoke about law. It will not be how much of the law you know. It will be about, do you as a lawyer, can you now cross-link things like technology, data, and a new kind of new business model, say for corporate law? Can you work all of these together to think of a very interesting way to present an argument for your client? To say, if you're a lawyer for a completely new age company which is operating, say, in the space of artificial intelligence for which no law has been created, and now you are supposed to represent that company. There is no case in the history of Indian law. There is no law written about AI, but you have to go and represent that company for some case. What does that mean? You have to now think on your own. Think beyond what you've taught, what you've been taught. So the important thing becomes, how are you enhancing your creative intelligence, your emotional intelligence, to be able to compute, respond to, and succeed in challenges and opportunities and scenarios that you have no training for. I'll give you another example. Let's look at COVID. What are the reasons why I think that not just India, but globally, we've not been able to respond well to the pandemic? Is not because we are incapable. Is not because we were lazy. I refuse to believe that. It's because we were not taught what to do. No state government official, no hospital official had got training or education in what to do when a little micro virus is going to hold the entire world by its collar. Nobody knows what to do. So we were taken by surprise. This is another example of why, if we had, instead of just focusing on collecting degrees and training on just manual and mechanical things, if we had focused on preparing our mind on, okay, how do we challenge, how do we accept a challenge or deal with a challenge that something like COVID, if we were trained to use our mind and use our intelligence more than just following a rule book, perhaps we would have better responded to the COVID pandemic. Our machinery would have better responded to the COVID pandemic. So it's this, and this is very important. This is the most important disruption, because often, I come back to my first thing, your parents will tell you, beta, be a good student. Your teacher will say, score well in geography, history and math, and nothing's going to stop you. Those equations don't fall true anymore. I know a school has invited me to talk to you, but I want to tell you the truth. Even schools need to change they need to bring about a mindset shift that, child, your intelligence, your creativity, your ability to deal with the unknown is far more important, is far more valuable than just the marks you are going to get. Linked to this, the fourth change that is going to disrupt in the world of work is the fact that not everybody is going to get a job. Not everybody is going to be able to build a career on what they want. Because fact of the matter is, we are 1.2 billion people. Machines are taking up so many jobs. So it is not like every human is going to have a job. It's not possible. Mathematically, it's not possible. So it's really important for you to adapt. Now, I don't know what that means, because it is different for each one of you and your dreams. But you need to be aware of this truth, that academic success, academic brilliance does not equal to getting the opportunity that you want, which means you have to be willing to adapt. For example, say you are wanting to study engineering, and all your life you want to become an engineer. You got a degree in engineering, but maybe there are not enough engineers that are required. That means that now you will have to you'll have to rely on your innate intelligence to pick a career path where there is a need, where there is opportunity. So you cannot no longer be stuck with, oh, I am preparing for this and this is all that I want to be because I am going to be good at it. That is not going to work. And you need to therefore be willing to adapt to these changes that are disrupting your very idea of what career means. Now, these are all not meant to scare you. These things are not meant to scare you. But now you need to connect the dots yourselves and question, what does career mean? Does career mean just a medium to make money? Does career mean a status that is going to give you the best bride or groom, like in the popular show right now, Indian Matchmaking, where what your degree and where your college is part of your eligibility to get a good marriage, to get a good partner? Or is your career about your life's purpose? So recently we were talking to some learners that were skilling, and they shared with me that, what we realized is all our lives we were programmed to think that, study so that we can get this job, and obviously we're not getting it. Then why not make a career out of doing something that we really like? So even if we earn less money, that is compensated by the satisfaction and joy of doing something that we really like. So maybe you tried to be an engineer but didn't work out, but you really enjoy acting or painting or whatever. Then make your career about your life's purpose, or your purpose could be that you want to make social impact. Now, why this is important is that whatever choice, if career is just about money, your sacrifice is satisfaction. If career is just about purpose and satisfaction, you might sacrifice money. The time has come to make these choices. The time has come to set aside all the belief systems that you have been programmed to think about so far. Just sit with yourself. Sit with yourself as if you are not any student, you are not anyone's son or daughter, you are just you. And you have to lead the next 30, 40 years of your life. And what do you want to give? What do you want to define career as? Because that decision will impact your choices, and it will give you the strength and the resilience to then accept the consequences of those choices. I'll give you another example on this. There is a prediction that in the next 10 years or 15 years, a concept called universal basic income will have to be introduced. What that means is because job opportunity will not be available for everyone, purely because of the numbers, population demand versus supply, a part of population will have to be given a basic income so that they can survive, and it will be given to them for free as duty of government, and it's being experimented globally. Now it means is somebody is taking care of your food, clothing, shelter, healthcare. What do? You can't just sit all day. Imagine you're eating, you're getting your shelter, you're being taken care of, but you have nothing to do. That scenario also can happen, and it might happen in your lifetimes. So you need to really redefine and reimagine what career means to you. Because if you are just going to go with the flow, then as I started my talk with, the flow is no longer the journey that you were promised it is going to be. The world of work is uncertain. It is nobody knows what's going to happen, and therefore your biggest asset will be only your intelligence and the plan that you make for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samyak, for painting a more vivid picture on the nuances of education and how we can contribute to the world with it. Now, for a little learning and a lot of entertainment, we would like to highlight a TED Talk for all of us to watch on the advancements of technology and its unique capabilities. So sit back and enjoy. Our next speaker is an unconventional one. Known as the next door mind reader, he is India's leading mentalist. He started as a street performer, but made his way to the list of the top 20 most inspiring men in 2018. His show, God's Child 101, is a combination of spirituality, education, personal development, compassion, mindfulness, and wisdom with no compromise on top-notch entertainment. He has done over 300 professional shows and worked with over 150 brands and many celebrities. He is single-handedly redefining our understanding of the capabilities of the human mind and its potential. Please join me in welcoming India's leading mentalist, the next door mind reader, Mr. Narpat Raman.
Hi guys, good morning. Thanks for joining. My name is Narpat. I understand it's a tough name. If that is tough to understand, my professional life is all about reading minds and creating an illusion rather that I can possibly read minds. It is not true. It is, when I say it is not true, it is not something I'm born with. It is something I've been practicing for the past 7-8 years now. I'm a professional mentalist. Sometimes I'm also referred to as a psychological entertainer. Although that is not the way I present myself. My tool of communication is mind reading, mentalism, yes, but my purpose of whatever I'm doing is something else. So I want to more impress upon you than to just impress you. I'm not here to show that I'm cool. I'm here to show that you are cool and you are much, much more than what you think you are. And I'm sure, I repeat one last sentence, one punchline. I'm here to impress upon you, not to impress you. I won't bore you. This is not a talk. Of course, I'll talk about life and my experiences, but I'll try my best to keep this unboring, if there is a word like that. I don't know. But the entire idea of mine, not just for the talk, my life philosophy is just one sentence. So if you see some kind of a depth and purpose in whatever I'm saying, take the message. Or my tool of communication to express whatever I want to say is mind reading or mentalism. So whatever is going to happen right now is not completely true. So what I mean is, first of all, there is no setup between you and me, right? I wish there was, but there is nothing. But still, a few things hopefully will happen. In terms of that is just my tool of communication. That is just my vehicle. So whatever message I'm going to say, if it appeals to you, please feel free to take it, apply it to your own life. If you think I'm boring, just watch the performance and enjoy. Okay. So that one sentence, I go back to that one sentence. My entire life philosophy, understanding of life is that one sentence. That is, thoughts become words, words become action. When you just hear it for the first time, it might feel like a, I don't know, punch dialogue. But if you just deep dive into this, thoughts, everything starts with a thought. You, me, somebody thought of creating us. Look around, your table, your chair, this camera, this laptop, phone, everything at one point it was a thought, or rather at one point it was an imagination, right? Everything starts with a thought. Everything, living, non-living, everything starts with a thought or imagination. So those thoughts become words. What we think, we say. So how we say, what we say, when we say, to whom we say, almost defines your social life. People judge you, people take you seriously or jokingly or whatever it is, based on what you say, how you say, when you say, to whom you say, multiple other factors when it comes to saying. So thoughts become words. These two combined, they become actions. They become a result. It becomes something. It might be an innovation. It might be a result of whatever you did in terms of thinking and saying. So we'll look at examples for all three, and hopefully that will also educate you as much as it's going to entertain you. Okay, starting with a thought. And I want this to happen with Aryan or Aryan. How do you spell it?
Aryan.
Aryan. Okay. So double R, double A. Beautiful. Aryan, please unmute yourself. I think
Yes,
you're already unmuted. Okay. Aryan, thoughts. You represent thoughts. Just to make a job a little bit easier, I've placed 4 cards here. To make a job easier, I'll tell you what these 4 cards are. These are 4 queens from a regular deck of cards. Queen of Hearts, Diamonds, Spades, and Clubs. Okay. It's already placed in a specific manner. Your imagination is going to prove it. Your thought, your imagination is going to prove it. Okay. There are, out of the 4 queens, there are 2 red queens and there are 2 black queens. In your imagination, you're going to decide the outcome of this. Although this is pre-placed in a specific manner, you're going to try and prove it. Okay. In your imagination, if I removed 2 queens, did I remove the red queens or the black queens? You tell me.
Red queens.
Red queens. Okay, let's say I place the Queen of Hearts on my this hand. I place the Queen of Diamonds on this hands. If I offered these 2 cards to you, which are red queens that you said, let's say if you were going to just take one of the queens, could be Queen of Hearts or could be Queen of Diamonds. And if you were going to place this, everything else is face down. You can't see the cards. You're going to decide if it's going to be Queen of Hearts or Queen of Diamonds from the red queens that you picked. That you're going to place it face up. So when we see, the entire deck is face down, except for your queen, which will be face up. You decide. Queen of Hearts or Queen of Diamonds?
Queen of Hearts.
Aryan, I never asked this. Do you want to change your mind by any chance?
No, sir.
Okay, you look confident. This is crazy. You're right. But I was so confident in you. I was very, very sure that you will name Queen of Hearts, because that's why this in a different color. In fact, I was even more confident that you will name Queen of Hearts. It's not me. It was lying here all the time. It was your imagination, because I never brought other cards.
Oh.
So your imagination is very, very strong, Aryan. Everything starts with imagination. And thanks for participating. Hey, thank you. Aryan, thanks for participating. If you can unmute, thank you. Thanks a lot. Or if you want to say something, please. If you don't have anything to say, if you just want to enjoy, feel free to be a passive participant. If you want to say something, you can always say.
It is a nice experience, and I'd like to thank you.
Yes. So although, thanks a lot. Thank you. My pleasure. Although through the experience, it's going to go on for another 10 minutes, maybe more. You might be tempted to think maybe Narpad, you're maybe doing some kind of maybe a technique or a trick, whatever. Even if it is that way, I don't claim, neither I disclaim. Whatever it is, I want to think whatever I'm saying as the core message. Of course, this is purely fun. Whatever is happening is purely fun, but everything starts with your thought. So when you keep your thoughts clean, life becomes a much, much easier place. Thanks for participating. Thank you. Thank you, Aryan.
Thank you, sir.
So let's say thoughts. We understood how powerful thoughts can be and imagination can be. Let's move to words. Okay, let's do something a little bit more interesting than what happened right now. And for that, I would want Shashank and Purnima to be unlocked.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Shashank. Hi, Purnima. How are you?
Fine.
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
That is all. Very good. Very good. Always happy. Okay. So you both are going to make some decisions individually and as a group. When I say group, you both. It's just you both. Do you both know each other personally? Have you the same class or something of that sort?
We're
Both
the
of you?
same
Purnima?
class.
Same class. Okay. Have you interacted? Have you spoken? Not much.
Not much.
Yeah.
Okay. Today we're going to initiate the conversation. Okay. Thoughts become words. Words become action. We have seen how powerful thoughts can be, and Aryan and I were mediums to explain you how thoughts can impact all of us. Now words, because everything is about the way the world perceives you, the way the entire world sees you is mostly based on the words you say. Right? You say good things happen. You say bad things happen. I've made a list of few words. Okay. These are color coordinated for a reason. You'll understand why. You'll make this happen as well. I'm just a medium between whatever is going to happen and you. These are color coordinated for a reason. Words like passion, harmony, health, meaning, love, fun, and so on and so forth. There's a lot more words here. Starting with let's say this side is Purnima, this side is Shashank. When I show a word, you both as a team or as an individual will tell me that word has to go for whom, which means, so let's say let's say a word like balance. At one given point, a human being cannot experience multiple emotions, right? Just for the sake of this, let's say between both of you, one emotion, one word can be had just by one person. When you both will decide that belongs to who. Okay. Let's say this is Shashank. This is Purnima. Okay. Balance. You both decide, or individually, let's say one volunteers and other one agrees, other one can disagree also. Purnima and Shashank, balance should be Purnima's or Shashank's. You decide. If you want to volunteer, please say.
Should be Purnima's.
Let's say Purnima.
Should
Don't
be
think much,
Purnima's.
Purnima, just go for
I
it.
think.
Purnima, if
Yeah,
you
it
want
should be Purnima's.
go for it. It should be Purnima's. Okay.
Okay.
Shashank is saying it should be Purnima's. Are you okay? Purnima,
Yes.
are you okay? Take it.
Yes.
A part of balance goes to Purnima. Confidence, Shashank or Purnima. Don't do alternate. Go by your heart. Go by your team. Confidence, Shashank or Purnima.
Shashank.
Me.
Okay, you also agree. Let's do this. Joy, Purnima or Shashank.
Me.
You
Yeah,
agree,
Purnima.
Shashank?
Yeah.
If you both agree, who am I? Peace.
Definitely Purnima.
Definitely Purnima.
Me.
Okay. Do you want to change your mind by any chance? You both
No.
are very confident. Peace goes to Purnima. Cool. Let me give a piece of peace to Purnima. Freedom. Shashanka Purnima.
Shashank.
Shashank, do you agree?
Yeah, me probably.
Money. Very interesting. Money. Shashanka Purnima.
That's me.
Looking at Purnima wants to say me, but she's also
No.
okay. Money has to go to Shashanka Purnima.
I.
I think it would go to me.
Okay.
Shashank.
See, good volunteering. Happiness. Shashanka Purnima.
Me.
Purnima, yeah.
Do you agree, Shashank?
Yeah, sure.
Very giving. Maybe we'll just do one more, maybe last. Fulfillment. Shashank or Purnima?
Shashank.
Shashank. Do you agree,
Agree.
Shashank?
Yeah.
4 on 4. Not bad. So these are color coordinated as I showed from the beginning. These are red and blue. So what is really strange is, guys, everything that happens in life, it happens for a reason. Maybe these decisions also happen for a reason. You made decisions individually and you made decisions mutually based on the words. And maybe very subconsciously, your intuition is right always. Because Purnimas are always red. Except for this one. Just kidding. And Shashanks have always been blue. And you both believe in your intuition. That is all. Thank you. Thanks for participating.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Who else is left? Hi, Stuti. I haven't spoken to you yet. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Very, very, very happy, Stuti. Cool. So we have seen, going back to basics, thoughts become words and words become action. We have seen thoughts and words, and combining thoughts and words, you're going to conclude the entire of this, which is action. So I'm going to send you a message. I don't want you to see it now. At the end of all of this, it might make sense. Although it is tempting, but do not give it attention. Cool. So these thoughts become words and words become action. We've seen thoughts and words. Combining thoughts and words, you're going to make action. In fact, both of us are going to make action happen. And how old are you, Sati, if I could ask you, 17, 18?
I'm 18, yeah.
18. At this point, there might be a lot of pressure for you in terms of what you want to become, how much money you want to earn. And so at this age, I can imagine the kind of pressure one would have, because I also had. right? So everybody quantifies. When I say quantify, everything becomes about money, all of that, right? Money is very, very important. Money is very important, but it's not everything. I'm going to try and prove money is important, but it's not everything through money. Okay, you will make a series of decisions, and when it comes to money, everything, the world has come to a place that we all think it's all about winning and losing. I have more, you have less, and all of that, right? I'm going to disprove that concept about money through money. That's going to happen like this. I have some money, a combination of 10 and 100. On the back of these notes, there are two specific messages written. A few of them will say win, and a few of them will say lose. Okay. I think so. I think we can do this. A few of them say win, a few of them say lose. Outcome, it's not in my hand. It's purely in your hands. But winning and losing, that is not important. Let's say, for example, this game is so much on your side. You will make decisions for me, and you will make decisions for me as well. Let's say, for example, if between these two, let's say, let's keep it here. Between these two, if you had to pick either the 10 for me or the 100 for me, we'll come back to you. Which one would you say? 10 or the 100?
100.
100.
Yes.
Very giving. Thank you. Let's say once more for me, 10 or 100. Last time you went for 100, that was very giving. This time you could again go for 100, which will be more giving, or you can switch your mind to a 10, which is a low denomination, and pick for me. But I do not let my words influence you. Whatever you think should go for me, 10 or 100.
10.
Okay. Interesting. Let's say we'll do for you a 10 and 100 once more. For you, you're going to pick for you a 10 or 100. If I were you, I would go for 100. But whatever decision you want to make.
100.
Let's say we'll do one more for you. 2 10s, but we don't know which 10 says what. Based on your intuition, this 10 should go for you, or this 10 should go for you. You decide. This or that. It's called this one, this one, that. This or that for you.
That.
That. Let's come back to me then, because it involves 100. A 10 and 100, you're going to pick for me. Also, it's involving 100. You might think you would want to pick the 10 for me, but we don't know which one says what message. But 10 or 100 should go for me.
100.
You're very giving. Let's say we'll jump back to you. This 10 or that 10, which one should go for you?
This 10.
This.
Yes.
Do you want to change your mind?
No.
You're very, very sure?
Yes.
Between these two, we'll do this a little differently. Purely based on intuition. Once I finish my sentence, we'll call this one this one that. You'll tell me which one should I drop. Okay, once I finish my sentence, just say this or that. Now, tell me, should I drop this or should I drop that?
That.
That. Before you see what you picked for me, I want to pile everything up. So I think money is very, very, in fact, all of you, we're almost towards the end of the experience. Money is very, very important. Money can buy a lot of things, but money is not everything. Because you made a series of decisions, and and people think everything is about the amount of money you have, and it's all about winning and losing and all of that. This is mine, this is yours. I lost. Not just here. I mean, you made me lose. Thank you. Not just here. You could have changed your mind to make me win. Not just here. Not just here. Lose, 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 lose. Which means you absolutely won. But life is not this unfair. Life can never get this unfair. Although you won, in terms of denomination, 100, 110, 120, 130, although you won the game, in terms of denomination, you have 130 based on decisions you made. And I have 100, 200, 210, 220. So although you won in terms of denomination, you won the game. Although you won the game, I kind of win in terms of denomination. I have 220 in front of me and 113 in front of you. Remember, I sent you a message before anything started. Please open and read the message to all of them.
Money comes and money goes. Yes, money is important, but it's not everything. It is only a byproduct of you following your heart. Although you won and I lost, if you look at it, I won in terms of denomination. Because if everything went well, I should have exactly 220 rupees in front of me, and you should have exactly 130 rupees in front of you. That makes both of us winners. Life is not a race, it is a sport. Money comes and money goes. Follow your heart.
That is all from me, ladies and gentlemen. Money comes, money goes. Two things. Nobody can quantify your life based on money or anything. It is you, your life. And quick recap: thoughts become words, words become action. And life is very, very simple. Life is not a race, life is a journey. Keep smiling. Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much, Mr. Narput, for uniquely demonstrating how our thoughts, words, and actions influence everything around us. Our next speaker for the day is Shanil. Shanil is the founder of the House of Artisans. She prides her brand on their imperfections and their human touch. She connects with artisans from several villages and gives opportunities to people that haven't been recognized. Shanil is a bold and passionate worker who quit her day job to pursue what she believes in and transformed it into a well-recognized brand. She is rediscovering the roots of unparalleled talent by giving a voice to the unheard and celebrating the uncelebrated. Please welcome Shanil.
Hi guys, thank you for that lovely introduction. I am so honored to be a part of the TEDx forum. And today I want to share with you guys a story of being too much. A story that started when I was 7 years old with this letter. This letter is written by somebody I'm yet to discover. I don't remember who it was. But I'm going to loosely translate into what it says. And it says, "Hi Shanil, I'm sure you'll never forget this letter. If you think that you're too beautiful or gorgeous, you're mistaken. If you think that others are here to serve you, it's your biggest mistake. If you try to harm others, it will come back to harm you. And please leave your friend Saima, because otherwise she will also become as awful and arrogant as you are. Bye." At 7 years of age, such a heartfelt, strong message. Clearly, I had annoyed her enough. Clearly, she felt that I was too obnoxious, too arrogant, and self-obsessed for my age. Fast forward to completing my 12th, when they said, "Oh, you are an intelligent girl. You've passed with good grades in your science, and you're going to do your engineering." And I said, "No, absolutely not. I want to do business." And they said, "Why don't you apply to other colleges and see where you get?" And I applied only to one institution and gave just one entrance exam. And people said, "Why are you being so naive? Why are you going to put all your eggs in the same basket? Why are you being so risky?" And I did what I did, aced the entrance exam. And right in the beginning of getting into college, the first month, and the first thing that I wanted to do was change the schedule of the college. I realized that the college of the same league and the same pedigree around the world follow a different system of scheduling, and I wanted our college to have the same. And hence I started, putting out proposals to the management, got petitions signed from every single student, every single professor, went back with those proposals, and one trimester later, the schedule for the college had changed, and it has been so since. A very, very proud moment for me. But then people said, "Why are you so excited? Why do you care? Why does it matter? Not like you're going to stay here for the rest of your life." Fast forward to then when I had to get into a B school, and I did my master's. I went to Bangalore, where the college was, packed my bags, moved with everything to Bangalore, very excited, moved out of home, wanted to experience new things. And about 10 days into being there, I realized that I did not want to be there. I wanted to grow more, and I felt like this was not going to be worth it. I felt like this was not going to help me grow the way I want to. And I remember telling that to a lot of people, and people said, "Are you insane? You have already wasted a year. The session has started. You're 10 days into it. You've given your fees, you've moved to a different city. Everything has happened. There's no way you're going back on that decision. Going back on decisions is not a good idea." And I remember on the 12th day, I packed my bags from the hostel and I sneaked it out with the help of my cousin. Next day, like we all go to college from hostel, we all left from the hostel. Just that everybody else reached and I did not. I got down midway, collected my bags, went straight to the bus station, took my tickets, and sat on my bus back to the home city, where I used to stay at that point of time, which was Mumbai. I went back, reached home, and my parents were shocked. They said, "What does this girl want?" And then again, people said, "What do you think of yourself? Why do you have so much attitude? What are you taking these decision bases? Where are you going to get anything now?" And luckily I did my master's from a place that I would like to, had an amazing experience. And at the end of it, I got 2 job offers. The first one was 200 miles away from my home, with a decent salary. The other one was 15 minutes walking from my home with double the salary and in the same city. Of course, the choice was simple. I took the first option of going to 200 miles away with half the salary. And again, people said, "You have screwed up the start of your career. Why would you want to go at half the salary because all your increments will be basis this. Why are you being so naive? This is no way of functioning. You should not take this decision. This is a wrong decision to take. And I did what I did. Reached there, started working. 1 year into being in a job, I was due for a double promotion and a massive salary hike. And 2 days before I was going to get that, I decided to quit my job and start my own business with 1 month's salary in my bank account. And again, people said, what the hell are you doing? Why are you being so stupid? At least take the hike. First of all, do you have a background in business? No. Do you know the industry that you're getting into is so male dominated, and hence the chances that you will succeed are very, very thin. So even if you fail, at least you're going to come back on a higher salary if you would have taken this hike. And I said, I'm not coming back. But what I realized was, for the longest time, I felt horrible about being this person. I felt horrible. I said, everything that I do bothers people, and definitely negatively more than positively. And every time I tried to hide myself, every time I stopped from being that, I landed up being even more of that. The more I tried to control being too much, the more crazy I sounded, the more crazy it looked. While there were some people who hated me for this, there were also some people who really loved me for being exactly that. They didn't feel I was too arrogant, or I did not listen, or I was too blunt or irrational. They just felt that I was a person who followed her gut no matter what. But that was not the point, right? While there were people who hated me for being too much, and there were people who loved me for being too much, the point was they all knew me as being too much. They all identified with me as being too much. And that's when I realized that that's the thing that makes me different from every other human being on this planet. That's the thing that makes me unique. That's the thing that makes me crazy. And I had 3 options. One was to hide my crazy and become a naysayer. Second was to accept my crazy and follow and get inspired by somebody who talks about being crazy. And third was to celebrate and flaunt my crazy and lead and inspire people to express themselves and be as crazy as they can be. And of course, I chose to celebrate and flaunt it. And if there's one thing that I can share with you, if there's one thing that I would want you to take back from this, is that if you want to know that one thing that makes you happy, if you want to know that one thing that satisfies you, if you want to know that one thing that will make you feel alive every single morning when you get up, find your crazy. And don't just find your crazy. Don't hide it. Don't accept it. Flaunt it and celebrate it. So 5 years from taking the worst decision of my life according to others, I'm here building one of the biggest brands for handmade and sustainable products, giving dignified livelihood to so many rural artisans around the country. So many people around the world working together who believe in the same vision as ours. Making products that are too much creating experiences that are too much, getting all the people together who believe and love being too much, and spreading that crazy, spreading that too muchness. And I think if you really want to find that crazy, the only one question that you should ask yourself is that who am I, irrespective of whether people hate me or love me? You can't help yourself from being, even if people hate you for it or people love you for it. Sometimes you feel guilty about being that. Sometimes you feel great about being that. But the point is, you can't help being that. And that is your crazy. And that is what I would want you to celebrate and flaunt. Because the only way we're going to reinvent the world is when we accept and flaunt our craziness. And like it said, the only ones who think that they are crazy enough to change the world are the ones who actually do. Thank you so much, guys.
Another huge round of applause for Shanil. Your journey stands testimony to the need to celebrate that craziness, that too much to redefine ideas. Next, for a small break between the talks and some fun, we have a student who's prepared a brilliant performance. Instead of a conventional style, she has chosen to blend multiple forms of dance to create a masterpiece. Please welcome to perform her very own dance, Meenakshi.
I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send the blood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me.
Thank you so much, Meenakshi, for that beautiful dance. Your swift and gracious dance was a true delight to watch. Ms. Divya Ramasamy is our final speaker for the day. She is a senior faculty member at Lions Arvind Institute of Community Ophthalmology, Arvind Eye Care System, and has been working there for the last 11 years. She is a diligent woman who works to ensure that the staff are at their best to ensure that the patients get the best eye care service. To date, she has contributed to and has been credited in 8 publications on various topics around eye care and has been providing optimal service for patients using unique and unconventional strategies. So please help me in welcoming our final speaker for the day, Ms. Divya Ramasamy.
It has taken a microscopic coronavirus to convince us all that we are one community, that we're vulnerable, and that solutions can leave no one behind. Now, all this seems like common sense, but it's rarely put into practice. Now, if every child needs a decent education and we know how to teach him, then why are so many children left behind from this seemingly exclusive club? If every child needs a decent education and we know how to teach him, then why are so many children left out of this seemingly exclusive club? If everyone needs to recover from an illness and we know how to treat them, then why do so many continue to suffer? We have the answers, but somehow the way we build the solutions around them excludes many from reaching them. And that is why over 2 billion people continue to remain blind or visually impaired, although half of this is either preventable or treatable, meaning that we already have solutions for these conditions. The ubiquitous cataract surgery or the even more commonplace spectacles can restore vision, and yet millions of our brothers and sisters continue to suffer needlessly from these treatable conditions. Let me also tell you of a little girl in sub-Saharan Africa who is blind in both eyes because of cataract. A timely surgery could have restored her sight, but eye care hasn't reached her village. But if you look around, you'll see Coca-Cola has. Maybe we should take a leaf out of the textbook of commercial organizations that design for maximum reach. They strive to make their products reach far and wide. They try to ensure that their solutions are designed to reach a maximum number of people. What can we learn from them? Now let me tell you of one ophthalmologist, Dr. Venkataswamy, who set out on an ambitious but a simple quest to eliminate needless blindness. He realized that while doctors had the treatment for a majority of eye conditions, it was not made available where it was needed, and only those who could travel and those who could afford the cost of the treatment really benefited from it. Dr. Venkataswamy, who was commonly called as Dr. V, realized that for any solution to be truly effective, it had to be designed to reach every man and woman, whether they could pay for it or not, whether they were in the villages or in the cities, and even whether they were seeking care or not. He pioneered the concept of eye camps, which would take eye care into the villages. He strived to do this throughout his career as the chief eye doctor of a government hospital. But it was only after his retirement, at the age of 58, when he set up Aravind Eye Hospital as a small non-profit 11-bedded eye hospital in Madurai in the south of India. Here he continued the practice of organizing rural eye camps where the teams would go out into the villages to screen patients and offer free surgery for whoever required it. Now this seems like the right solution, but he still found that many patients were not willing to take up this surgery. A study conducted at Aravind revealed that although the surgery was free, patients could not afford the cost of the bus ride, the food, and it also meant that somebody from the family had to accompany the patient to the hospital. This was additional expense, besides the lost wages for a few days. Aravind's eye camps are now designed not only to screen the patients in the villages, but to transport them to and back from the hospital, provide surgery, accommodation, food and medicines, all free of cost to the patient. After 4 decades now, Aravind still organizes 2,000 such camps all over the state of Tamil Nadu, and over 90,000 free surgeries are done through this outreach program. But let us step back and see if this is a holistic solution. Usually these camps are conducted once or twice a year in a given village. Now say you could not make it to the camp, or say you developed eye pain 1 week after the camp was conducted. Now this camp is really not solving your eye problem. So the team at Aravind learned about this shortcoming when they did a study in '96. They found that less than 7% of those who needed eye care actually came to these camps. So while these camps were helping thousands of people, it was still not a complete solution. So they went back to the drawing board to find a solution that would be small enough to work in the villages, ensure high quality of care, but also be affordable for Aravind to provide it. And that is how the Aravind Vision Center model was developed. These are rural clinics run by ophthalmic assistants where patients pay 20 rupees for a complete eye examination, which includes a teleconsultation with an eye doctor who sits in one of Arvind's base hospitals. Close to 4 lakh rural patients are seen every year through these vision centers. But the best part is only 1 in 10 need to travel to a base hospital for higher levels of care, say for surgery or to see a specialist. For all the rest, their complete eye care needs can be satisfied at the vision center itself. They can even purchase a pair of spectacles in a frame of their choice. So our solutions need to ensure that people are able to access them with dignity. Today, the Aravind network handles over 4.5 million patient visits and performs over 500,000 surgeries and procedures every year. Over half of this is provided completely free of cost or at steeply subsidized prices for the patient. And yet, Aravind is able to be a self-sustainable organization and also generate a healthy surplus that has fueled its growth and expansion across the state. This is because Arvind's high quality of care is able to attract a significant number of patients who are willing to pay for its services. Now, medicine is an expensive affair. So how can we make it affordable without compromising quality? And this is a riddle that healthcare providers face the world over. Aravind, by leveraging economies of scale and taking several cost-effective measures, has been able to keep the costs down. These measures have also helped in another very important way. Waste generated by healthcare institutions are among the leading contributors of the global carbon footprint. Through responsible reuse of material, Arvind's carbon footprint is just a fraction of hospitals in the West. Arvind's waste from 100 cataract surgeries is similar to the waste generated by 1 cataract surgery performed in the United States. But Aravind is able to deliver this with high levels of safety. Arvind's infection rates are significantly less than what is reported in the West. Now, all this seems like a good solution to the problem, but Aravind operates only in and around Tamil Nadu in India. How can it solve a global problem? And that is why Dr. V open sourced the Aravind model. In fact, he started a unit called LICO to share this model with other eye hospitals across the developing world. The Aravind model of high quality, sustainable care has been successfully replicated across India and several developing countries. Aravind continues to innovate and experiment to find better solutions for this problem of blindness and visual impairment. Together with its partners, Aravind is trying to address this global problem through compassion, perseverance, and creativity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Divya Ramasamy, for enlightening us on the importance of an inclusive world where no one is left behind. With that, we come to the end of our TEDx event. We hope that you enjoyed the program as much as we did presenting it. The determination and creativity of our speakers has served as a beacon of inspiration for the entire audience present with us.
Their words bestow upon us a sense of hope and wonder, even in these trying times for the entire world. Thank you once again, and to our audience, thank you for being part of such an inspiring event. I'm sure you know that this event would not be possible without the relentless efforts of so many people. So we would like to call upon the rest of the core team to present us with a vote of thanks.
Esteemed dignitaries, respected speakers, and our very dear audience, it is our duty and privilege to present the vote of thanks. Words do not seem to do enough justice when it comes to expressing our gratitude, but we will try.
Firstly, a hearty thank you to Swami Anukula Ranji, Madam Shanti, our directors, and our principal, Madam Rajeshwari, for constantly guiding us and helping us whenever we needed it, even from afar. An event like this cannot happen overnight.
The wheels had started rolling weeks before the event, and our immense gratitude goes out to Mr. Ganesh, Madam Divya, and Mr. Arun for being the engines behind our event. When we had moved our event to the virtual forum with our uncertainty set in, they had constantly supported us and guided us to hold such an exceptional event.
A very special thank you to all the performers who were truly a delight to watch. We cannot forget to give our heartfelt thanks to the entire IB batch of 2021. They have worked tirelessly to make TEDx at CIRS flawless.
And finally, we would like to thank our speakers for this event. Mr. Abhishek Sansanwal, Dr. Shweta Adatya, Mr. Samyak Chakrabarti, Mr. Narpat Raman, Ms. Shinil, and Ms. Divya Ramasamy. Thank you for not only making this event an astounding success, but also for your bravery to be different and your deep passion to better the world. Hope all of you enjoy this virtual event. Thank you for watching.